Fireworks of curiosity erupted when insiders whispered that Barbra Streisand's seemingly rock-solid marriage had taken an unhinged detour. For decades, Streisand and husband James Brolin appeared as Hollywood's golden couple, balanced, supportive, almost too perfect to question. But behind the velvet drapes of Malibu mansions and quiet strolls on Manhattan sidewalks, an undercurrent of bizarre rituals and whispered tensions started to swell. What began as harmless eccentricities has now spun into a swirl of secret ceremonies, late-night confrontations, and unexplained vanishings that have even the most loyal fans raising eyebrows. If you thought life with Barbra the Legend could never stray beyond glamorous predictability, buckle up. This story plunges into the surreal, and what it reveals might make you rethink everything you assumed about Hollywood's most private union. It all started when Brolin, who once basked in Streisand's guiding spotlight, began vanishing under the cover of darkness. Staff members report seeing him slip out through the service entrance at odd hours, clutching nothing but a crystal amulet and a manila envelope stamped with an unfamiliar emblem. At first, the jet lag excuse held, strict schedules for meetings in Europe and charity galas in the Hamptons. But as unmarked black SUVs idled beyond the gate, sources say his absences grew less about work and more about clandestine pursuits. Meanwhile, Streisand, known for her unwavering devotion to family, started hosting marathon energy alignment sessions in the grand drawing room, seating guests in concentric circles around a pulsing red candle. Was she simply experimenting with meditation, or tapping into something darker, something that demanded her husband's secret involvement? Guests invited to these midnight gatherings describe a mix of awe and unease. One longtime friend describes arriving to find Streisand in full ceremonial robes, reciting an unfamiliar invocation in a language no one recognized. Brolin sat nearby, silent as a statue, his gaze distant yet fixed on her every syllable. As torchlight flickered against ornate mirrors, wine flowed freely, but conversations drifted from harmless reminiscing to cryptic questions about unlocking cosmic marital codes. When a curious attendee dared to inquire about the ritual's origins, Streisand's smile snapped into something colder. "Some truths aren't meant for tomorrow's headlines," she warned, leaving gossip-hungry guests scrambling for answers. Adding to the intrigue, the couple's inner circle reports that Brolin's private behavior has shifted in startling ways. Once the picture of easygoing charm, he's now caught in obsessive routines, measuring room temperatures down to the 10th degree, rearranging Streisand's prized art collection on a strict 7.5-inch grid, and refusing to sit on any furniture not aligned precisely to a north-south axis. At dinner parties, he interrupts conversations to check the moon's phase, cross-referencing it against an arcane almanac tucked under his chair. Guests whisper that when Streisand isn't leading incantations, she's gently but firmly guiding her husband's every move, as if he's both partner and prized disciple in a private ritual. Even loyal fans have taken notice. Social media detective accounts flagged a spike in Brolin sightings outside an unlisted wellness retreat, one rumored to specialize in celestial bond realignments. Sleuths posted blurry photos of him entering a stone sanctuary bearing his initials carved into the doorframe. Speculation soared. Was James seeking enlightenment or subjecting himself to a relationship overhaul under Streisand's direction? Theories multiplied faster than paparazzi flashes. Some said it was a marriage rebirth, others whispered of mind control experiments. Either way, the subplot has become the juiciest Hollywood secret in years. Now, with whispers swirling and insiders edge of their seats hungry for more, Streisand's camp maintains that everything is above board. Barbra and James are simply exploring new spiritual frontiers together, a spokesperson insists. But when the line between partnership and peculiar authority blurs under the spotlight of celebrity scrutiny, fans can't help but wonder, how far is too far when love dances on the edge of the uncanny? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and the next twist might just eclipse every rumor that came before. Sources close to the couple say this descent into the bizarre didn't happen overnight. It evolved through a series of seemingly innocuous experiments that grew steadily more elaborate. It began with Streisand's fascination with krypton-based crystals last spring. Staffers recall her inviting a small group of trusted aides to an unmarked warehouse, where she had arranged dozens of transparent mineral clusters on velvet pedestals. Under low lighting, she guided participants through a crystalline harmony exercise, claiming each formation emitted unique vibrational frequencies that could align marital energies. Brolin, ever the dutiful husband, wore noise-canceling headphones to tune into the stones, as insiders describe. The initial sessions drew polite curiosity, until the crystals vanished without explanation. Rumor has it spirited away for advanced attunement by hand-picked couriers. Around the same time, the duo began recording their dreams each morning in leather-bound journals etched with family crests. Invitations to Streisand's weekly dream decoding salons only landed via discreet, embossed letters delivered by nightfall. One guest who attended describes walls plastered with tarot cards, a sea of scattered Polaroids capturing Brolin in mid-sleep, and Streisand whispering interpretations in hushed tones. She cataloged images, flying her husband over mountaintops, witnessing him drown in an ink-black ocean, and seeing him crowned in marigolds. According to that attendee, Streisand claimed these scenarios represented cycles of rebirth in their union, while Brolin nodded solemnly, stroking his goatee in studied contemplation. When challenged about the symbolism, Streisand merely smiled and said, "Some answers reveal themselves only in sacred moments." Meanwhile, sources report that Brolin has embraced a dangerously strict dietary regimen that mirrors Streisand's personal preferences. He now consumes only white foods, cauliflower mash, jasmine rice, coconut milk, on odd-numbered days, and purple foods, blackberries, eggplant, purple kale, on evens. This chromatic menu, she insists, balances the yin and yang of the body's energy fields. Kitchen staff have been instructed to prepare meals in pastel-hued serving dishes, forbidding any bright colors that could distort the vibrational spectrum. Late-night calls to the pastry chef requesting violet-tinted macarons became so frequent that the chef allegedly threatened to resign until Streisand herself reassured him, handing over a signed note promising full creative freedom, though the pastry molds still must adhere to Streisand's precise mandala patterns. But perhaps the most unnerving turn involved the couple's nighttime excursions. Confidential logs leaked by a former driver reveal Brolin was shuttled to an undisclosed purification lodge deep in the Santa Monica Mountains at least twice a week. There, he spent hours in a geodesic dome lined with copper coils, listening to guided meditations purportedly voiced by Streisand herself. After each session, he returned pale and silent, refusing to discuss the content but clutching a new talisman in his hand, a small engraved disc inscribed with the words, "Union Eternal." When questioned, he would only murmur, "This is how we merge our wavelengths." The outer circle of friends has grown alarmed, wondering whether Streisand's experiments are personal passions or something more controlling. One longtime confidant confesses, "I used to worry about a creative retreat, but now I worry about Jim's independence." Invitations have become rarer, and those who once felt honored now feel burdened by unspoken rules. Dress codes dictated by aura color, a vow of silence on afternoons when Mercury is in retrograde, and an arrangement fee for every request to see the estate's art collection. Even private phone calls to Streisand's office require pre-approved topics, and Brolin's voicemail greeting has been replaced with a looping chant that insiders swear repeats the mantra, aligned as one. Despite the mounting unease, Streisand's team insists these are simply spiritual explorations shared between lifelong partners. But the parenthetical notes and staff scheduling emails tell a different story. Line items marking suspected overreach, boundary imbalance, and guest vetting required. The curtain has pulled back enough to reveal a relationship that sounds less like marriage and more like a meticulously orchestrated experiment, one in which two legendary figures tinker with the very formula of union itself. As James Brolin drifts between crystal attunements and midnight lodges, fans are left wondering whether this odd alchemy will forge a stronger bond or fracture a once-envied partnership forever. Now the question on everyone's mind: where do Streisand and Brolin go from here? Amid whispers of curious ceremonies and nightly disappearances, the couple has offered no promises of slowing their arcane pursuits. Streisand's public schedule remains filled with gala appearances and album releases, while Brolin's focus appears increasingly set on esoteric alignment retreats. Yet behind closed gates of their Malibu estate, insiders hint at an internal reckoning. Some friends worry that ongoing rituals may have started out as harmless curiosity, but now risk eroding mutual respect. Others argue that the eccentric routines represent a shared journey deeper than any therapy session, affirming rather than fracturing their bond. In the world's press, commentary ranges from bemusement to genuine concern. Tabloids speculate about eventual separation or secret divorce negotiations, while cultural commentators debate whether this combination of rituals and rigid codes can endure. A psychology blogger summarized the dilemma succinctly. When personal habits begin to rival personal autonomy, boundaries blur until none remain. That phrase became a rallying cry on social platforms, with hashtags like hashtag #BarbraAndJames and hashtag Boundaries gone viral trending for days. Fans split between those who admire her fearless exploration of spiritual dimensions and those who fear that love stories should never require such elaborate tests. Yet amid the swirl of speculation, a few brave confidants insist they have witnessed a simpler side to the pair's experiment. One longtime assistant reports that on some mornings, she finds Streisand and Brolin sitting quietly in the rose garden, sipping chamomile tea and watching sunlight play through the petals. No robes, no crystals, just two people holding hands and exchanging soft smiles. That fleeting normalcy underscores how rituals can coexist with intimacy without overwhelming it. Perhaps Streisand's public ceremonies serve as a dramatic counterpoint to these private moments of genuine connection. Insiders say the defining moment may come this autumn when Streisand supposedly plans the culmination of her Celestial Union project, a grand equinox ceremony on a private island off the California coast. Invitations list strict guidelines: white attire, zero electronics, a vow of silence until sunset. Guests given a rare glimpse include a handful of donors to her charitable foundation and one or two of her nearest collaborators. The island's setting will be ringed by lanterns, with Brolin at the center arranging stones into a spiral, guided by cryptic instructions on aged parchment. If flown to completion, this ritual could mark a turning point, either a harmonious merging of marital energies or a final test that pushes them towards separate paths. For now, fans can only wait and watch as the saga unfolds. Some cling to optimism, envisioning Streisand and Brolin emerging from their cosmic odyssey with renewed creativity and deeper affection. Others brace for news of scandalized reticence, rumors of ultimatums delivered by moonlight, or even the ultimate twist, a dramatic public statement dissolving their union. Whatever the outcome, one fact has become clear. In the crowded annals of celebrity marriages, few have drifted into territory as uncanny as theirs. By willingly turning their most sacred bond into an esoteric experiment, they've invited us all to question what it truly means to unite two lives. In the end, perhaps that is Streisand's final masterpiece, a story that transcends music and film, reminding us that love itself is the largest mystery of all. Until then, the world watches with breath, eager for the next cryptic update or candid interview that may shed light on this curious chapter. Whether Streisand's marriage returns to normalcy or plunges even deeper into ritual, one thing is certain: no other couple has made love and mystery so inseparable. And that fusion, Barbra Streisand reminds us that sometimes the art requires us to lose ourselves before finding what truly binds us. As autumn deepens, whispers of the equinox ceremony grow louder, and speculation swirls around every detail. Insiders hint that Streisand has commissioned a custom-built stone altar on the island's secluded shore, a circular platform carved with concentric glyphs mirroring constellations overhead on the autumn equinox. Brolin, they say, will place the final glyph in the center as the sun dips below the horizon, symbolizing the merging of their personal energies into one harmonious field. Guests will witness a ritual timed to the second, an alignment of celestial and marital forces. Yet no two attendees agree on what comes next. Some believe the ceremony will culminate in a vow renewal. Others suggest a spiritual rebirth that dissolves individual identities into a shared consciousness. If even a fraction of these accounts prove true, it promises to eclipse every Hollywood wedding spectacle ever staged. Photographers stationed along the mainland shoreline have already begun staking out vantage points, hoping to capture the couple's arrival by private yacht. Unnamed staffers warn that drones will hover at strict altitudes to avoid intrusion, and security teams will deploy encrypted channels to scramble unauthorized recordings. Streisand's representatives insist the event is a private, deeply personal expression of love. Yet eagerness to document every moment has drawn a mini army of paparazzi, cultural reporters, and on-location bloggers. The tension between Streisand's desire for intimate ritual and the media's hunger for spectacle captures the paradox at the heart of this saga. How do two icons craft an experience meant solely for themselves when the world aches to witness every heartbeat? Meanwhile, astrologers and numerologists have jumped into the fray, charting planetary movements and mapping Brolin's birth date against this year's equinox, convinced that cosmic forces favor an unprecedented union. One chart released online claims that Mercury, Mars, and Venus will form a rare, triangular configuration exactly overhead at golden hour, a sign, they argue, of enduring passion strengthened by shared spiritual quest. Critics dismiss such claims as fanciful, yet many in Streisand's circle treat them as gospel, scheduling rehearsals around precise astrological windows. Caterers line up to prepare ritual fare, organic grains for earth energy, moonwater cocktails for lunar influence, and candied citrus peels to invoke sunfire. Even the island's flora has been surveyed for pungent incense materials, each botanical element chosen for its vibrational signature. On the ground, Streisand's favorite architect, a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright, is said to have designed architectural pavilions that frame the altar from multiple angles. These sunken structures, partially camouflaged by native succulents, boast mirrored ceilings that reflect both sky and sea, creating endless optical harmonies. Beneath each pavilion, interactive sound installations capture ambient wave patterns and channel them into crystalline speakers, providing an auditory backdrop to chants and invocations. Guests are encouraged to don woven sandals, crafted on-site from palm fronds, to stay grounded, a directive that has prompted staff to lay miles of grass matting between lodgings and ceremony site. Every detail seems engineered to reinforce the idea that Streisand and Brolin are not merely hosting an event, but staging a ritual that dissolves the line between art and life. As rehearsals progress, the unspoken question remains: will this elaborate pageant heal old rifts or magnify them? Some observers point to the very intensity of planning. Streisand's meticulous scheduling of alignment checkpoints every 20 minutes, Brolin's nightly temperature readings of saltwater baths, as evidence that the couple's experiment may have spiraled beyond intention. Yet others recall glimmers of genuine warmth. Staff recount Brolin slipping a handkerchief into Streisand's pocket after a long planning briefing, her soft laughter echoing through private corridors. In moments like these, it seems that, despite every crystal and chant, the core of their partnership still rests on a simple foundation of care. And so the world waits for the equinox to arrive. Will Streisand and Brolin emerge transformed, united by cosmic forces and ritual precision? Or will the ceremony expose fault lines that no amulet can seal? As the final fragments of daylight slip across that remote island, every eye, both invited and hidden, will search for the answer. In a tale that began with whispered enigmas, perhaps this culmination will reveal what has truly bound two of show business's most enigmatic figures: love, devotion, and the courage to bend reality itself in pursuit of a shared destiny. As the island's lanterns dim and the final glyph settles into place, the world beyond watches on bated breath. Social media feeds are alight with speculation. Did Streisand and Brolin unify their energies or fracture forever? Memes juxtapose Barbra's ceremonial robes with famous wedding disasters, while fan accounts debate whether the coastal winds carried blessings or curses. Twitter polls ask if the ritual will inspire a surprise duet album or a stunning public separation. Hashtags like #EquinoxEuphoria and #CeremonyChaos vie for attention, each tweet fueling fear of the unknown and excitement for the reveal. Even casual observers find themselves drawn into the narrative, unable to look away from a love story teetering on the edge of the surreal. On entertainment news shows, Commentators race to fill airtime, dissecting every grain of leaked drone footage. Celebrity astrologers appear on morning broadcasts, claiming that Venus's retrograde in the seventh house could have either solidified a cosmic marriage bond or triggered irreparable discord. One guest insists that Brolin's repeated midnight rituals indicate a spiritual imbalance, warning viewers that pushing cosmic limits often leads to earthly collapse. Meanwhile, numerologists point out that the ceremony's date, October 5th, adds to the drama. The numerological sum equals 11, the master number of transformation, suggesting either transcendence or tumult. Viewers across time zones debate these forecasts, some dismissing them as fanciful, others embracing them as prophetic. Insiders whisper that lawyers for both parties have hovered in the background, drafting quietly worded amendments to the couple's prenuptial agreement. Confidential memos reportedly discuss scenarios ranging from renewed marital vows to mutually agreed separation triggered by irreconcilable vibrational misalignment. Real estate agents have tracked sudden inquiries about the Malibu estate, believing the property might hit the market if the ceremony backfires. Production companies in Hollywood privately weigh the potential for a ritual rundown documentary, hoping to secure exclusive rights to interviews and behind-the-scenes footage, an appetizing prospect for networks eager to monetize the intrigue. In music circles, rumors swirl that Streisand plans to channel the ceremony's emotional high, or collapse, into her next studio album. Song titles like Concentric Hearts and Mirrored Souls have floated around industry insiders, hinting at compositions infused with vocal samples of ocean waves and whispered chants from the ritual. Collaborators have reportedly been approached to craft orchestral arrangements layered with hollow fractal synths designed to mimic the ceremony's ambient soundscape. If these plans come to fruition, listeners could soon hear the marriage's secret rhythms woven into ballads that test the boundaries between pop and mysticism. Simultaneously, an upstart production crew is said to be following Brolin's every move, filming his return trips to the Purification Lodge for a potential streaming series. Titled tentatively The Alignments of James, the project would chronicle his metamorphosis from film star to spiritual seeker, documenting crystal consultations, midnight chants, and the mounting toll on his friendships. While Streisand's camp publicly dismisses the series as unauthorized speculation, industry chatter suggests producers are already negotiating with insiders for exclusive footage, proof that in today's media landscape, no esoteric ceremony stays secret for long. Fans have even placed odds on gossip betting sites. Some wager that the couple will renew their vows at the end of the month, veiled beneath ceremonial hemp shawls. Others bet on a formal announcement of a marital hiatus, possibly followed by a tell-all memoir from Brolin detailing the extremes of celebrity rituals. Whether the ceremony cements or collapses their union, bookmakers agree that Streisand's unexpected plunge into the occult has reinvigorated her public image, casting her as both enigmatic diva and fearless explorer. As daylight finally breaks over the ceremony's site, only Streisand and Brolin know what truly transpired. Did they succeed in weaving cosmic energies into their union, or did they simply weave a narrative that entranced the world? For observers, the equinox has become more than a date. It's a living legend unfolding in real time, a story that blurs love and spectacle, devotion and drama. And as fans scroll through the first official photographs, Streisand's outstretched hand meeting Brolin's at the altar, they realize the greatest mystery may not be what happened at sunset, but where their unparalleled partnership goes from here. As the first light of dawn paints the sky over the secluded isle, Streisand and Brolin re-emerge from their ritual, faces serene, hands still entwined. No official statement has emerged beyond the brief release describing a ceremony dedicated to renewal and love's enduring mystery. But those who attended speak of an atmosphere transformed. Guests wept, some laughed, all felt a palpable shift in energy. In the days since, sightings of the couple on Malibu Beach show them walking barefoot in the sand, their earlier rigidity seemingly melted into playful ease. Onlookers describe Brolin nudging Streisand to chase seagulls, a playful wink exchanged rather than cryptic nods. Friends allege their whispered conversations now blend laughter with reflective silence, a rhythm that suggests harmony rather than control. Industry insiders note that Streisand's next album, tentatively titled Euphony, channels the equinox themes into music. Early demos featured delicate choral harmonies, layering her voice with wind chimes captured live in the island's pavilions. Collaborators say she rarely stops smiling in the studio, her usual exacting standards softening under the influence of an experience she calls life's greatest duet. Brolin has been spotted in informal cameos on her social media accounts, sharing short videos of him strumming a guitar, his earlier solemnity replaced by gentle humor. Social media, meanwhile, has embraced the enigma. Hashtag Beyond Weird has given way to hashtag Enchanted Union, as fans salvage hope from whispers of bliss. Conspiracy posts about mind control have largely faded, replaced by affectionate memes of seagull chases and sandy footprints. A handful of devoted skeptics remain, citing the missing crystals and late-night rituals as evidence that the couple is still dancing on the knife edge between devotion and decorum. But most observers echo a simple refrain. They look happy, and perhaps that is enough. Psychologists consulted by lifestyle magazines caution against reading too much into performative spirituality. They note that high-profile rituals can sometimes replace genuine intimacy, trading authentic connection for symbolic gestures. Yet in this case, many experts point to the couple's shared laughter as proof that the ritual served as a powerful resetting tool. Dr. Elena Martin, a marriage counselor, observes, when rituals are chosen by both partners, they can act as anchors during turbulent times. The key is mutual buy-in and the freedom to opt out without penalty. Onlookers who notice the couple enjoying quiet moments post-ceremony see exactly that dynamic. A union reborn, not rebounded. Meanwhile, the Malibu retreat is booking again, this time as a venue for small, innovative workshops titled Alchemy of Union. The hosts, still tight-lipped about details, promise curated experiences for select couples seeking to rekindle their bonds. The equinox ceremony's blueprint has been distilled into guided meditations, sound baths, and pink sand mandala drawing sessions, which insiders say Streisand personally tested for authenticity. The irony is not lost on local residents. An island once a private sanctuary has become a quiet epicenter for a new trend in experiential partnership therapy. As rumors swirl about future collaborations, perhaps a joint memoir or even a small-screen adaptation, Streisand's spokesperson insists the couple will return when the time is right, with stories to share and music to sing. 4. Now, the world can only watch a love once defined by tradition, now writ large in lunar chants and crystal codes. Barbra Streisand has always marched to her own beat, and James Brolin has proven willing to follow her flute into uncharted territory. Their journey at the equinox may remain beyond full comprehension, but in bridging private ritual with public fascination, they remind us that love, in all its forms, can be the grandest of performances and the most enduring of mysteries. Their story invites us to question our own rituals, seeking where love ends and myth begins, and where both meet again.